Good blessed this Sunday night, October the 29th, 2023. The time being about 7:27 p.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter whether you the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter if you my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. I greet all you all with that same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter whether you like me or anything that I say or do, whether you my family or nor my friends. You have a right to speak and do as you please, as long as you do it in a legal, non-violence, in a peaceful manner. Right now, what I'm showing is, a lot of y'all know, y'all done seen my security cameras, and they look real small. One of my nieces came up from Chicago. She stays in contact with me all the time. Her mother, and her children's. We call each other and check up on each other all the time. But when she came down to my dad's funeral, she was the only one besides my oldest daughter and my grandchildren that actually came to my house. It was a snowstorm, so I know the reason some didn't come, but you know, other ones passed right by my house and went down the street. But I still love y'all. You know, I know everybody that's blood is not treated the same. Only Jesus and people like me and some other people don't reverence people. But anyway, that ain't even what I want to talk about. But she came and she used to watch my videos with my security cameras, and she got a chance to see that my cameras is actually larger than it's on a big screen television, and it's larger than you all see on the YouTube. But anyway, the reason I'm showing this here today is I encourage a lot of you all to get these. Install them yourself or get somebody else to install them. It's live right now. This is on Vine Street. You can make each one of them bigger. You can even make them rotate. But I don't make mine rotate because I want to see all four of them at the same time. You see what I want? I want to see all four of them at the same time. But the reason I'm showing y'all these here is come in handy a lot of times, especially on our block. On our block in the 600 block of Vine Street here in Charleston, Missouri. Actually, the whole Vine Street starting from the dividing line, which is Main Street, dividing line of East and West Main in Vine to the end of Vine, west on Vine, going all the way down to the end of Vine past Finning Street. You know, it's real peaceful. Actually, the whole town is peaceful, but sometimes you have to get unity in your community, unity on your block, but you have to have unity among, you have to have structure among yourself first. Then you have to have structure with your family, especially if you got children or anybody that's living up under your roof and you the head of the household, whether they grown or children. If they don't want to go by your rules, and your rules is peace, harmony, and unity, and they don't want to have it, they would have to leave. That's how my household is. But anyway, once you get yourself together, you can get your household together, then you can get your block together, and then you can get your community together, then you can probably get the whole city together. But I'm showing this here for a reason, for people to get this here. And listen to what I'm saying is because the black communities and the Spanish communities, because my children's my daughters, all three of them is Spanish. My grandkids is Spanish and black, and my daughters is Spanish and black. But I I stand up for all communities, but I deal with a lot of times the black community and the Spanish community because most of my family live in these communities. And what's going on today, just like, for instance, yesterday on October the 28th, 2023 in Tampa Bay, Florida, 18 people were shot at a Halloween party and 2 other ones was killed. And I was looking at the video, I seen a few whites in there that would look like the whites, or they was light-skinned blacks, but there was a lot of blacks there. I don't know who did the shooting. But then I got a call early this morning. See, I can't be everywhere at one time. But if you call me and you want me to put something on the news, I'll do it, because we know a lot of time the news is not going to do it. And these actors that call themselves activists, and these preachers that said that they are preaching theology, but they preaching theatrics, they not going to tell about it. They not going to tell the nation about what's going on. They ain't going to inform the community, but I inform y'all. But they had a shooting in Chicago, Illinois at 1 o'clock in the morning, this morning on October the 29th, 2023. 1 a.m. in the morning. On 1300 South on Pulaski Street in Chicago, Illinois. That's the southwest. That's the west side, but it's 1300 South. 1 block south of Roosevelt Street. Roosevelt is 1200 South in Chicago. 15 people shot. 2 of them was critically at a Halloween party. I don't get off into Halloween. To each his own. I don't look down on people, but I don't pass out candy on this day that they call Halloween. I don't dress up in no costume, because some of these preachers and some of these so-called actors, they dressed up all the time. They want you to think that they actors and preachers. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But let me just say this here. If you're going to have a party somewhere, have some security there that be able to take, like that shooter that shot 15 people early this morning, and that individual that shot 18 people and killed 2. Have somebody on standby that know how to use a weapon. You see what I'm saying? To be able to stop them, because calling 911, the police may come and they may not come. But if you having a party, you should secure it. That's just how, when we came up in Cabrini Green in the row houses, I was talking to a female that lived a couple of doors down from us. I haven't seen her, I think, since maybe the 80s or the early 90s, maybe the mid 80s. And we were saying how we never had to call the police in Cabrini Green row houses for nothing. You see, in Cabrini Green, when I was coming up, I'm talking about in my era, there was organizations called the Leprechauns in the row houses. And the white and the red projects, they had what they call the Deuces Wild in the blacks. In some parts, they had Cobra Stones, which was separate from the Leprechauns, the Deuces, and the blacks. The Leprechaun, Deuces, and the blacks, we wasn't gang banging. We was organizations. Organizations that protected those parts of Cabrini Green. Now, later years, some gangs came, but you had a structure that followed the structure that was going on before the gangs came over. And they were still being called organizations until they got out of hand. You see, back in the day, all these drive-by shootings, all of these shooting up these parties, the police wouldn't have to come. The shooter wouldn't get away. He might not even get a chance to shoot. You see, where we making our mistake at, you look in Carbondale, Illinois. Look at Carbondale United. Google it up. Look up Nancy Maxwell. She was in April of this year at the city council meeting in Carbondale, Illinois. Her and a white female named Jessica and Nancy Maxwell got up in the Carbondale City Hall meeting in April and sit there and lied because Nancy Maxwell had just been elected as a city council meeting, and she was going to be installed in May of this year, 2023. Nancy Maxwell said she's no longer the CEO and the director of Carbondale United organization, which begs for money all the time. But the white woman said she was. But now Nancy Maxwell been installed. Now she's back again as the CEO. Hiring individuals coming out of the penitentiary for selling drugs in our black communities, murdering people in our black community, and still getting misusing people in the black community and calling themselves violent interrupters. Now, when I was coming up, we didn't need no doggone violent interrupters. We didn't have to get paid to protect our community. But Nancy Maxwell wants the city to give them, the city of Carbondale, Illinois, to give her violent interrupters $58,000 a year like they pay the Carbondale, Illinois police. For what? They can't carry a badge nor a gun. So what they gonna give them $58,000 for? How is they gonna? She got three of them. Michael Vallet, an individual that went to the penitentiary for murder and drugs, came out getting into an organization like Nancy Maxwell's now and misusing individuals at the homeless shelter in Carbondale, Illinois. My son was one. Michael Vallet and his wife, Katie Babcock, that's Babcock, a parent educator at the Carbondale Rebound High School. They was misusing people that was on homeless people in the homeless shelter. They was getting their food stamp cards. Some of these people was getting cash and didn't know they had it, but Michael Vallet and his wife kept their food stamp cards at all times for months, maybe even a year. So the people that was getting it didn't know during the pandemic that they was giving cash on their cards too, and Michael Vallet and them getting their cash and their stamp and giving them a little bit of nothing. Feeding her, not Michael Vallet, her kids. Now her and Michael Vallet got some twins. And she's still running programs and committed a crime that the police or the prosecuting attorney won't say nothing to them, won't arrest them. But they got these individuals calling themselves violent interrupters and ain't stopping no doggone violence in Carbondale, Illinois. They got them in, they have them in Chicago. They not stopping no violence. These people is actually just trying to get money. Because if they was going to stop violence, all these individuals, I got Muslim friends, Catholic friends, I got Christian friends, I got white, blacks, Puerto Rican, Mexican. Some of us, we're about trying to stop this violence, but you don't see us begging for no government money. Ain't nothing wrong getting government money if you're going to do what you say. If you say you're a preacher, then preach. Save some souls instead of talking about your pastor anniversary, pastor appreciation, building funds. Don't none of that mess come from the Bible. Jesus and his disciples wasn't going out begging for no money for no Jesus and his disciples appreciation. Hello, somebody out there. Now, another thing. Now, when I was coming up, like I said, we had the leprechauns, the Deuces Wild, and the blacks. We was all of that in one. Violent interrupters, anything. We didn't have that type of mess that's going on today. We didn't have it because we had unity. We had love. We had parents that cared about their children. Some of these people out here today, blacks, I'm talking about some blacks, if the shoe fit wear, when you tell them about their children, then they want to get out here fighting. Let me tell some of y'all here in Charles, Missouri, just recently my camera showed about 8 young individuals, about 14 and 15 years old, coming down Vine Street. None of them don't live here. In this camera here, right on this corner, where little children from like 4 and 5 to maybe 10 or 11 years old was playing, and these here young punks, cowards, come down the street throwing rocks at them, talking about stealing their bikes. But then one of the brave neighbors on our block told them to stop. They talked mess, but they kept on going. Then they went down here to my other neighbor's house, where he got like rocks in his gravel in his driveway. They picking up the rocks in there, throwing them. But see, now what if somebody put a cap in one of their ass? Excuse my language, y'all. What if somebody put a cap in one of them? What if somebody bust one of them head? Then y'all gonna get to crying. Keep your kids in check. If y'all see my kids out here doing, see, I'm tired of telling y'all what your kids doing. If you monitor your kids, you'll know what they doing. You see, they come in our neighborhood. But see, we ain't gonna take that here on Vine Street. You see what I'm saying? We ain't gonna take it. And then some of y'all say, who is we? I'm one of them. And there's other people tired of y'all children, tired of some of you grown individuals disrespected. Y'all ain't gonna go in the white neighborhood and do that. Y'all ain't even gonna throw no paper on the ground in the white neighborhood. And like I said, what's wrong is these grassroots programs like Nancy Maxwell and them phony violent interrupters. People like Lester Gillespie and Rodney Jones here in Charleston, Missouri. Paul Page running the housing authority. Robert Hearns running the chief of police. We can't elect him. We can't elect our mayor. They just rotate and do it. Brenton Farrow, the sheriff of the Mississippi County Jail here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County. No black sheriff deputies. Charleston, Missouri Police Department, 1 black police sergeant been on there for about 30-something years. They just hired a white police come from Oran, Missouri. They can't find, I guess they can't find no blacks. And I'm not talking about white people if the shoe fit wear, but we got a lot of racism here. We living in a town here in Charles, Missouri of 5,947 people, give or take. 51% is black. You don't have but 1 black police. You don't have no black sheriff deputies. You don't have no black assistant. You don't have nobody black working in the prosecuting attorney's office. You have these individuals that the white supremacists, if you're not white supremacists, don't let it bother you. They put these people like Lester Gillespie, Rodney Jones in positions because they gonna tell the people everything is all right. They put people like Nancy Maxwell, Linda Flowers, Junior Rice Sanders. They put these people in, and they in Carbondale, the ones, the females. They got all these organizations and all these groups. All they ask for is money, but they ain't caring about no violence. The NAACP national president, Derrick Johnson, he's a sellout. You'd be better off having Donald Trump or whoever the head of the Ku Klux Klan or the white supremacists. You'd be better off having them, the president, the national president of the NAACP, because it's been over almost 1,000 days since my son was hung in Carbondale, Illinois, and I'm an NAACP member, a dedicated NAACP member, an activist, a civil rights leader. And I have yet to get 2 NAACP members to help get justice for my son. I filed a complaint with the NAACP in Carbondale, Illinois by email on May the 11th, 2021. Because my son was murdered, found hung March the 19th, 2021. And I yet to get a response from them. They told me it was on hold until the police and the prosecuting attorney come to the conclusion of their investigation. They came to the conclusion of their investigation. The police department in Carbondale, Illinois, came to the conclusion that my son, they said he committed suicide. They came to that conclusion August of 2021. The prosecuting attorney came to that conclusion September 2021. This is 2023, going on 2024. So why is that still on hold? Just tell me you ain't gonna do nothing. They never met with me one time. This individual called himself a violent interrupter, Michael Vallet. Look him up. Look these people up, y'all. These people are criminals that still selling drugs out on the streets, and they oppressing the black community. I'm going to leave with this here. Peace be still.
We're learning as well from the Chicago Police Department that alleged shooter, along with a weapon, have been recovered. That alleged shooter, again, in custody. This is according to Chicago Police. Now, back to the number of individuals wounded. We are told at least 15 people wounded in that shooting at a Halloween party in the city's North Lawndale neighborhood. Now, some of them were brought here to Cook County Stroger Hospital, mostly in good condition. 2 folks were taken to the hospital in critical condition, a 26-year-old woman and a 48-year-old man. Now, Chicago Police say the shooting happened on the city's near southwest side at a Halloween party, which was winding down. It happened around 1 o'clock this morning. It's at that location near 13th and Pulaski when partygoers say a fight broke out in the backyard of this location, and when one of the individuals involved wasn't allowed to come back into the party, the man allegedly started shooting.
So it was a fight that broke out in the back. There's a couple of guys that went out, then maybe somebody tried to come back in and told him he couldn't get in. So I guess he came back, put his arm through the door and started shooting. A couple of people got hit, 3 people that I know got hit, and then there was a girl in the back.
Now, authorities say some of the injured were also taken to some other area hospitals, including Mount Sinai and Northwestern and also Rush. We're told of the wounded, there's 6 women ranging in age from 26 to 32 years old and 9 men ranging in age from 26 to 53 years old. At this hour, again, police say that they do have that alleged shooter in custody and they have recovered a weapon. He was apprehended as he ran away, we're told, by officers.
If y'all think that this flag represents everybody in the United States, y'all still asleep. Y'all ain't woke. You see, if this flag represented everybody in the United States, then, we as black people would be treated just like the Ukrainians is being treated, coming here, getting everything that they want, when we still got homeless people in the streets. My daddy, this is his flag. My daddy was drafted in the 1940s to fight against Adolf Hitler. When he left Charleston, Missouri, being drafted, guess what? It was racism when he left. It was racism inside of the military. They separated the blacks from the whites. And when he came home, the same thing. That's why him and my mother left the state of Missouri and went to Chicago and had all 9 of us. My cousin, I just found out 53 years later from a person that I grew up in the row houses on Cleveland Street with, one of my niece's dads, who was drafted in the Vietnam War. My cousin, who lived down here, down in southeast Missouri, was drafted. Larry Wallace. His body came back in 1970. They told my mother and his mother that my cousin was killed. He was drowned in the military. But I just found out 53 years later, my niece's dad told me he got drafted with my cousin. And they told them when they were stationed in Germany, Adolf Hitler's place, even though Adolf Hitler was dead during that particular war, the Vietnam War, but they told the blacks don't go out at nighttime by themselves, but my cousin did. And they found him in the streets dead. Racist Germans killed him. If you ain't a racist German, don't let it bother you. But my cousin was murdered by one of y'all. I'm going to show y'all, I want y'all to pay close attention to the video that I'm going to play before this here. I want y'all to listen to this shooting at the Halloween party and ask yourself, did the President of the United States call them 15 people, family who got shot at this Halloween party on 13th and Pulaski early this morning at 1 o'clock in the morning, October the 29th, 2023 in Chicago, Illinois? Did the governor of Illinois call them? Did the mayor of Chicago call them like they did the 6-year-old Palestinian, the one Palestinian that was stabbed to death? May he rest in peace, the 6-year-old boy. Did he call them? No, he didn't call them. But if it was one of them Ukrainians that's tented up by the police departments and every place else, they would have called them. They'd have made sure they was all right. Some of y'all don't like what I'm saying, but I'm keeping it real. Peace be still.